Welcome back to another episode of 40 Facts About the 40K Universe. I am your host, Gershwin, and you are watching One Mind Syndicate. Today we talk about death cults. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. We post Warhammer 40K content every single day. And of course, if you have any suggestions, comment down below. But with that said, let's get into 40 facts on death cults. A death cult is a group within the Imperium that expresses their worship through the art and exploration of death. Death and blood underpin human existence. It is a common truism that only through continued blood sacrifice in the face of a hostile universe will mankind prevail. A sacrifice likened in the Imperial Creed to the bodily sacrifice of the Emperor himself. So it is in these beliefs that the death cult flourishes within the Imperium, a dark shadow of the more readily recognized sects of the Imperial faith, making them some of the most dangerous heretical cults that the Inquisition can encounter. Some are no doubt deluded, corrupted by the ruinous powers, or swayed by far older and more terrible influences, but many are devout followers of the Golden Throne. To these individuals, every death, every cut, every welling of blood is an act of worship to the immortal Emperor of mankind. Such death cults can vary widely in purpose, creed, makeup, and scope, but even the least suspect walks something of a tightrope between the sublime and the damned. Most so-called death cults, despite their differences, can be divided into three broad categories: Sanguinary Cults, Necrotic Eye Cults, and Resurrectionist Cults. Perhaps the most commonplace and famed subdivision of death cults, Sanguinary Cults, focus on the act of bloodshed itself, the manifold art of killing and the moment of extinction, often honing the skills of an assassin beyond the ken of normal men. Such cults are tolerated or at least willfully ignored by the Imperial authorities, despite their heretical and even vampiric tendencies. This tolerance is because they are known to be implacable in their hatred of mankind's enemies, supplying the Adeptus Ministorum and the Inquisition with invaluable adepts of murder and fanatical killers loyal to the cause. Some have even more shadowy connections to the mysterious Officio Assassinorum, the secret organizations that provide unparalleled adepts of murder for the High Lords of Terra. Many sanguinary cults spring into being in the fertile soils provided by the harsh conditions found on many feral and feudal worlds. However, the shadows of the Underhive, the viperous intrigues of the noble courts, and even the deep space can quickly create the conditions where ritual societies dedicated to the deadly arts of the blade, bullet, and poison can flourish. The Calixis sector has numerous such sanguinary cults and sacrificial societies scattered across many worlds, and indeed the population of outcast feudal worlds. The most famous of the death cultists, without a doubt, are the assassin mystics of Moretatt, which have subcults and cells operating right across the sector and beyond. Necrotic Eye Cults are the most blatantly heretical and terrible of the death cults, with sects often springing up on worlds ravaged by warfare or planet-wide famine, pandemic disease, or other terrible disasters. In desperation and often goaded by outside influence, the people's faith and devotion take on increasingly malignant turns, with human sacrifice, cannibalism, and neurotic rituals becoming widespread. In such cases, the members of these cults rapidly become irreversibly insane and physically corrupt, and are often the playthings of warp entities, while the vile leaders of such cults walk a tightrope between burgeoning malefic power and utter madness. Necrotic Eye cults are never tolerated by the Imperial authorities and are hounded to destruction wherever uncovered. Within the Calix sector, Necrotic Eye cults have been known to spring up in the wake of long-burning wars, on isolated and savage worlds such as Endrite, and in the dark space hulks and other vessels in space where stricken survivors or desperate stowaways devolve into a form of mutant cannibals, known to the Voiders as Gillums or Holdgauns. But of all these tales, none can compare to the ancient stories of the appalling Cynian clan of Dusk, whose half-mystic ghoulish histories have given the children of the Calixis sector nightmares for centuries. Rarely encountered but insidious in nature, Resurrectionist cults ultimately seek to conquer the secrets of life and death itself. Some Resurrectionist cults preach a doctrine of the Emperor's triumph over death and the conquest of human weakness, while others entreat dark masters, pursue utter forbidden sciences, or hide baleful Xenos or warp-spawned influences at their heart. Often they espouse the goal of attaining physical immortality for the faithful, and will go to unspeakable lengths to obtain their ends. More so than even the Sanguinary Cults, these groups attract insane and desperate individuals to their ranks. Those who have long lost everything, become the most degenerate heretics, or follow the wildest of deviant creeds. Some resurrectionists even practice ritual revivification to doctrinate their members. The most extreme examples of such sects believe that the Emperor's plan is for mankind to follow him into a blessed immortality of the flesh. They even claim that it is possible through the use of utterly forbidden archaeotech to free the Emperor from the Golden Throne, to walk among his people. Dead but alive everlasting, to quote the darkly renowned Credo Mortifex. Such cults are hated by both the Adeptus Ministorum and the Adeptus Mechanicus, and must throw up a murderous vial of secrecy and superstition in order to survive. The Moretatt is an Imperial death cult, well known throughout the Imperium. Some legends say it was brought to the Calixes by adherents secreted among the force of the Angevin Crusade, who carved the sector into being. Others claim it was already seated in place, waiting for the Imperials when they came. Regardless, the Moretatt leans heavily on the Imperial Creed, albeit with a very bloody and mystical interpretation of its dogma. It teaches that only through the merciless application of violence and death can the Imperium be sustained, the weak and corrupt winnowed, and the Emperor's own great sacrifice honored. In organization, the Moretatt is supremely difficult to infiltrate or pin down, operating in independent cells, each led by a single master or mistress, seated in recruiting grounds such as the Underhives, Pharaoh World wildernesses, and war zones. The Moretatt selects those who have already been marked by tragedy and bloodshed to serve the Emperor as a bringer of death to his enemies. They take these individuals from a young age and forge their bitterness and hate into a weapon, training recruits relentlessly in the art of destruction, deception, and bloodletting, while at the same time indoctrinating them into their own brand of the Imperial faith and the mysteries of the cult. Moretatt aspirants who survive this education become full members of the cult and are sent out alone into the wider Imperium, a process they call the Travail, to hone their skills as assassins, vigilantes, and perilous duelists, believing that only through continued conflict and bloody experience can they become supreme in their arts and worthy to serve the Emperor. The existence of the Moretatt is something of an open secret in the hierarchy of the Calixian noble houses and Imperial Adepta, although facts about them are scarce in the extreme. The cult's existence also seems to benefit from some measure of toleration by the Imperium's higher powers, a fact that leads some to whisper that the Moretatt's true sponsorship lies with the distant and dreadful temple of the Officio Assassinorum. For a Moretatt assassin, the chance to serve the Inquisition is a blessed thing, dealing death to the God Emperor's enemies first-hand, and also a proving ground where they can test their skills against the most dire and powerful opposition. Many Inquisitors regard Moretatt assassins as individual resources, monsters of their own, to fight the many monsters they must challenge. And those were 40 facts on the death cults. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, share it with your friends on Facebook, Twitter, and whatever social media you guys use. Jump on over to the wiki page. There's more death cults there, so link is going to be down in the description. It's really fun to talk about topics that you don't really see on the battlefield or you won't normally see in the codexes. The Dark Heresy stuff is just awesome because it just adds on to the fluff. I've been seeing a lot of YouTubers spring up where they're actually doing role-playing stuff, and that's absolutely awesome. I wish we could do that, but really it's just me and the Sound Alchemist. And even though I enjoy Vaults of Terra when he did his role-playing game, I can't watch it, and I don't want to put out something that I wouldn't want to watch. So that's why until we get a good group of people who are willing to, number one, like, learn the lore and be about the lore, and then number two, make it entertaining, because a lot of our friends are just kind of, they don't have the character to play the character, I guess you could say, or personality to play the character. But until we get that, I don't want to put any role-playing stuff out there. But if you do, tell us what your favorite role-playing channel is down in the comment section below. I would love to check it out. And again, guys, thank you for everything. If you like what we do, support us on Patreon. A simple $1 a month helps us create more videos for you guys. It's about to be October. And the cool thing about October is scary stories. So I'm working on multiple scary stories that I want to put out. I'm not too sure if they're some of them are going to be exclusive to Patreon, but others are going to be, I might do like 1 or 2 a week, and then the other 6 on Patreon for the whole month of October, but I'm not too sure yet. Stay tuned for more information on that. But again, if you want to jump on over there now, support us. A simple $1 helps us out. And if not, liking, commenting, and sharing, it really helps out the channel. And with that said, I'll see you guys tomorrow. This was Gershwin with One Mind Syndicate, signing out.